Welcome to this video where we will be discussing the reasons why democracy couldn't flourish in Pakistan since its inception, and why authoritative agencies like the establishment didn't let Pakistan become a pro-democratic country. We will examine how the failure to adopt this practice has hindered Pakistan from achieving economic prosperity and making significant strides in the field of science, preventing it from becoming a leading nation. Let's start with the history of Pakistan. Pakistan was founded in 1947 after a long struggle for independence. Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the founder of Pakistan, envisioned Pakistan to be a democratic country. In his speech to the Constituent Assembly on August 11, 1947, he said, you are free to go to your temples. You are free to go to your mosques or to any other places of worship in this state of Pakistan. You may belong to any religion, caste, or creed that has nothing to do with the business of the state. Pakistan adopted its first constitution in 1956, which declared Pakistan to be an Islamic republic with a parliamentary system of government. However, democracy in Pakistan has been fragile from the beginning. Pakistan has seen 4 military coups, resulting in military rule for a total of 33 years out of its 74 years of existence. The military establishment has been accused of interfering in the political process and not allowing democratic institutions to function effectively. In 1958, General Ayub Khan came to power through a military coup and ruled Pakistan for 10 years.
My dear countrymen, Assalamu alaikum. I am speaking to you tonight under the threat of war.
He introduced the system of basic democracies, which weakened the power of political parties and allowed the military to maintain control over the political system. This led to the further weakening of democratic institutions in Pakistan. In 1977, General Zia-ul-Haq came to power through a military coup and ruled Pakistan for 11 years.
Mr. Bhutto की हुकूमत खत्म हो चुकी है. सारे मुल्क में माशाअल्लाह नाफिज कर दिया गया है.
He introduced the concept of Islamization of the country, which meant that the laws of the country would be in line with Islamic principles. This led to the introduction of the Hudud Ordinance, which discriminated against women and minorities. Zia-ul-Haq's regime is also accused of suppressing political dissent and curtailing freedom of speech. In 1999, General Pervez Musharraf came to power through a military coup and ruled Pakistan for 9 years.
Dear brothers and sisters, your armed forces have never and shall never let you down, inshallah.
He was accused of suppressing political dissent, curtailing freedom of speech, and not allowing democratic institutions to function effectively. In 2008, he was forced to step down due to public pressure, and democratic institutions were reinstated. However, democracy in Pakistan remained fragile, and the military establishment continued to have a significant influence on the political process. Now let's talk about how the lack of democracy in Pakistan has affected its economy and scientific development. Pakistan's economy has struggled to grow due to political instability, corruption, and poor governance. Pakistan's GDP growth rate has averaged around 4% over the past decade, which is lower than its neighboring. One of the primary reasons why democracy has struggled to flourish in Pakistan is the interference of the military establishment in the country's political affairs. The military has been accused of manipulating elections, suppressing political dissent, and undermining democratic institutions. Whenever civilian governments tried to assert their authority, the military intervened to weaken or overthrow them. Another reason why democracy has struggled to flourish in Pakistan is corruption. Pakistan is plagued by corruption at all levels of government and society. Corrupt politicians and bureaucrats have siphoned off public funds, mismanaged public institutions, and weakened the rule of law. This has eroded public trust in the democratic process and hindered the country's economic and social progress. The lack of investment in education and scientific research is another factor that has held Pakistan back. Pakistan's education system is in a state of crisis, with high dropout rates, poor infrastructure, and inadequate funding. The country spends only 2.8% of its GDP on education, which is much lower than the international average of 5%. This has resulted in a shortage of skilled workers and professionals, hindering the country's scientific and technological development. The lack of political stability and weak democratic institutions have also hampered foreign investment in Pakistan. Investors are wary of investing in countries with high political risk and weak governance structures. The lack of foreign investment has hindered the country's economic growth, as it has not been able to attract the capital needed to develop its infrastructure, create jobs, and increase productivity. Pakistan has also struggled with extremist and militant groups that have used violence to undermine the democratic process and destabilize the country. These groups have targeted political leaders, journalists, and civil society activists, creating an atmosphere of fear and intimidation. The government has not been able to effectively counter these groups, leading to further political instability and social unrest. Despite these challenges, there are signs of hope for Pakistan. Civil society groups, human rights activists, and journalists have been working tirelessly to strengthen democratic institutions, hold the government accountable, and promote transparency and accountability. Women entrepreneurs are also breaking barriers and making a significant contribution to the country's economic growth. With sustained efforts, Pakistan can overcome its challenges and realize its potential as a democratic, prosperous, and scientifically advanced nation. In conclusion, the lack of democracy in Pakistan has hindered its economic and scientific progress. The interference of the military establishment, corruption, weak governance structures, lack of investment in education and scientific research, and extremism are some of the factors that have held Pakistan back. However, there are signs of hope, and with sustained efforts, Pakistan can overcome its challenges and realize its potential. It is time for Pakistan to embrace democracy, strengthen its institutions, and work towards a brighter future for its people.